I was to choose just one brush, I had to go on a trip, or I was busy, or I just needed it to do all the things because I didn't have time, which one would it be? It would be this one. And I'll tell you why. This is LimeLife by Alcone's number 3 angled brush. It is different than a lot of other angled brushes because of the way it's designed. It's also the density of the bristles themselves and the way that they blend and diffuse things. It has a nice sharp edge to it, like right here. It's also very flat, as you can see. It goes really flat. And a lot of angled brushes have a little bit more of a raised center, I find. So when it's applying to your face, it's concentrating the product that it's picked up right in the center. It can be great in some areas, but it can be patchy in other areas. And it certainly can't do quite as much as I'm about to show you, because generally if it's rounded here, it's also rounded on the outside. So it really limits itself to what it's intended for. The second thing is that it's vegan synthetic bristles. That means you can use it for both cream and powder. So you could use it for foundation if you wanted to. You could start by packing on the foundation, blending it out, wipe it off on a towel, go in with your powders. You could do that. And I have done that actually. But this one I'm going to focus on powders. I'm going to quickly show you with just this particular palette, all the things you can do with this brush. It is well worth it. I've had this for 5 years. It is a workhorse. It is one you definitely want in your collection. Okay, so starting off with powder. Because of how nice and flat it is, it makes an amazing brush to kind of fit into the crevices of your face. So see how it's kind of going really nice and flat as I work through. Amazing, amazing powder brush. It is actually my go-to powder brush. When I apply powder, this is what I use. Number 2, you've got contouring. Take it and put it on the very side, just like that. It's almost like, so it's just really on the edge of the brush. Line it up with your hairline like this. And you're just gonna stamp along, stamp and pull down like that until you think you have all the product worked in. Then you can flip it so that you have it on the flat side and you can blend it out. And it's really gonna do the work for you because of the way the bristles are. It just glides along your face and it feels really nice. And it just makes sure that your lines are seamless without having to switch brushes. So super duper convenient. Now, if you want to do, say, a bit of nose contouring, you can just use the tip like that. And then you just go in like that and just capture the very tip of it and it will blend it in. You can turn it around and sort of make sure that nothing is left unblended. Now, moving into bronzing, you can do the full brush and then you just obviously go into all the spaces that the sun would be hitting your face. If you're just doing an all over bronzing kind of look. Then we move into blush. I like to use blush very minimally, and I like it to be into my cheekbone exactly where I would normally blush. I don't want it bleeding into other parts of my face. Some brushes are just so big that you put your blush here and it's just, you've got it down here and up here, and now you don't have a highlight or a contour anymore. You've just got a lot of blush. So what I do with this guy is I take it and I just go into the tip, just like that. So just a tiny bit. And then I go into kind of a similar area to where you were contouring, and I start to work it in there. And then I just bring it up. So once it's in, and then you can just kind of dust it off and then just kind of work it in. So I'm still not really going into the other 2 zones, but I want to make sure that it is good and blended. So it's just very seamless. I look like I'm blushing, but you can't tell where it starts and stops. Moving into the very last, that is the highlight. And so for this one, again, I like my highlight to be where highlight should go. I don't want it creeping into other things. So I'm going to use the very tip, but in this case, I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to square off the top, go in just like that. So you just see a tiny little bit. And then I'm going to go on top of my cheekbone so it's going to fit right where it's supposed to go. Just gonna kind of stamp it along. And then you just can take and kind of whisk off a little bit and sort of polish. And this polishing piece is gonna be where it makes your highlight really glow. If you apply it and just kind of like leave it sit there, it's gonna be a bit more muted, a bit more concentrated. But when you take and you start to rub the highlight, that's when you're starting to get a really polished effect. And these bristles are so incredibly soft that they really just like melt everything right into your skin. It's such a lovely brush. This is hands down one of my most used face brushes since I started using them. So value, it's got a ton. If you want to get in on it for 50% off, I suggest you follow the link below or above, depending where this is, and get your hands on at least this guy. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up there in case you do wanna get something. I don't wanna waste your time because time is ticking. It will end at 11 or 10:59 Central and 11:59 Eastern tonight. If you caught this video after and you missed out on it, put it on your wish list. Maybe you already own the brush and you just found out a whole bunch of ways to use it. Maybe you're gonna be traveling soon and you're like, oh gosh, that's awesome. Now I can leave behind a ton of my brushes. So this is the one.